Good evening, everybody. So this is my evening food prep for my morning training routine. So we start out with some beef ribs. We're going to open those up and we're going to cook them in the slow cooker. So start off by opening the package and putting them all in the slow cooker, one level thick. They should all fit in there. And this 3-minute prep will be breakfast, lunch, and supper for tomorrow, although I will most likely eat it in 2 sittings or 2 meals. So those are all in there nice. Now I'm going to add some pork belly, a little bit of extra flavor. So I don't need all that. We'll cut it in half, cut that in half, and then create slices to create more surface area, diffuse the flavor. Just like that. Okay. Into the slow cooker, spread them around. Great. Now next, we're going to add salt, so Himalayan salt, which we will add liberally. You can't overdo it with salt, so help yourself. There we go. Perfect. Now we just have to top it up with water. So ideally you want to just cover the ribs to the surface, and that should be a good 6 cups. There, that's 2. There we are, 4. And that's 6. Perfect. So next, put on the top, plug in the slow cooker, power it up, and I'm going to set it for 10 hours on low. That way when I wake up in the morning, breakfast, lunch, and supper will be ready. Perfect, easy meal prep. So when we're discussing the morning routine, we prepared our food the night before. We wake up in the morning, and to initiate the process, I always start off with shaving. Putting a hot washcloth on my face, heating up my beard to soften the skin, also wakes me up. So I do 2 minutes with a washcloth on my face. I shave, empty the dishwasher, take my 5 grams of creatine, it's the only supplement I take, and then I am ready for push-ups. Now, the first variety of push-ups I'm going to show you is not what I'm going to do. These are not pure, slow, full, deep push-ups. What I want to do is fast, somewhat ballistic changes of direction. I want to challenge the collagen. I want to make it somewhat plyometric. This wakes me up. This gets me activated for the day. And with everything I do in the morning routine, it follows the same philosophy. So here we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm going to demonstrate the push-ups that I don't want to be doing. Those strict, full range of motion, deliberate, full extension, full flexion. That's not at all what I want to do. Those are too slow. It's not going to put me in the sympathetic vein of the autonomic nervous system. It's not what I want. So what I'm going to demonstrate is quite different. Now I'm going to start by showing you what these push-ups look like from a head-on view. Don't want to go till your nose is touching the floor, pretty close, but it's just a ballistic back and forth change of direction. That's it. Nothing to it. So now, here we go. This is the beginning of my morning routine. I start off with push-ups, get myself into a plank position, and away I go. I'm going to count in my head up to 100. I usually count to 50 twice. But this is aggressive. It's just rapid change of direction, acceleration, deceleration. It's really kind of a plyometric challenge. But it's pretty much an all or nothing dynamic planking. It may not look like much, but by the time you finish this, you've essentially done a sprint, a 100-meter sprint. So this form of challenge, this aggressive, active challenge, is what every one of these exercises in the morning routine are going to be like, essentially. It's not to get perfect form. It's not to do full range of motion. It's just to hammer these things out aggressively and just like that. So there, the push-ups are done. Now the second exercise in the morning training routine is going to be 200 skips. Set yourself up and just count in your head. I like to count to 54 times. And don't worry if you screw up. You see I'm wearing socks. That skipping rope can whip your toes and it's painful. If you screw up, you just set up again and keep going. Just make sure you get 200 in. There, like you see. Try and keep a nice rhythm. You want to get that plyometric bouncing. That's so important for reorganizing the extensibility in your collagen. Getting all those fibers lining up. This is great for ballistic starts and stops and changes of direction, especially in the morning. It's a great caffeine substitute. There we are. One more screw up, but don't worry. Just keep going, pump them out. Almost there. And that's it. 200 skips done. Now, just as I demonstrated what I don't want you to do with the push-ups, here's what I don't want you to do with the pull-ups. I don't want strict, full flexion, full extension chin-ups. This is not what we're after. Is this valid? Is there utility? Of course. But it's not what we're after this morning. This morning, it's get into that sympathetic state and just blast them up and down. Back and forth, change of direction, aggressively, dynamically. I want to get in, I'm going to go for 30. So that's what we don't want, slow and deliberate. So now I'm going to show you what we do want. Okay, here we are. Ready for some quick, ballistic, narrow grip pull-ups. Little chalk on the hands. This is the morning, don't forget. Just try and keep the steady balance and just blast up and down. Count to 30 in your head. We're not looking for perfection. We're not looking for full extension. We're looking for a back and forth. Acceleration, deceleration. Come on. And there we are. Simple as that. For exercise number 4, we're going to do air squats. Now, I want to keep my feet as parallel as possible. I want to work fully to the bottom, the ass to the grass depth of the deepest squat. With every time, I want to be challenging that collagen, challenging my dorsiflexion, working my ankles, my knees, my hips. This is just greasing the groove, lubricating that whole movement. So that when I'm doing a heavy squat, that full depth is natural. So most people suffer from dorsiflexion limitations because they never challenge their ankle. You want to get your knee well past your toes, and you want to be comfortable doing that. And when your feet start getting too wide or too laterally rotated, I mean, this is not how humans locomote. So you want to motivate yourself by keeping them as organized as you can in the sagittal plane. Work through it. 65. And there we are. 65 air squats done. Now for exercise number 5, we are going to go and do some landmine bent over rows. So here I have 204 pounds with a narrow grip, and you just want to work your back, work your biceps, work your hamstrings. Just aggressively up and down. Want to try and pull out a good 15. Come on. Keep it going. Great for accelerating and rowing. Done. Perfect. And now for the final exercise in our morning training routine, just going to be simple vertical jumps. Just extend up as much as you can and right away follow up. We want to get a good 6 or 7. As ballistic and as energetic as possible. And that's it for the morning exercise routine. Now, that's the work done. Now we can look and see the results of our overnight cooking. Our 10 hours of slow cooking, back ribs, pork belly, salt, and water. Look at that. So my morning routine is behind me. Now I'm going to nourish myself with a very ketogenic meal. This is fat and protein. Pretty much 0 carbs. So a good 3 or 4 ribs is a great way to start the morning. Look at that. That's a breakfast of champions. No unnecessary variety. Nothing too hyper palatable. Just pure nutrition to build better bodies. And that's it. That's the routine.